Your grandmother is not gone. I know that sounds impossible. I know grief is real and loss cuts deep. But let me tell you something that physics says with absolute certainty. Something that has been confirmed by thousands of experiments. Something that powers your GPS and makes particle accelerators work. The past still exists. Not in memory. Not in photographs. The past exists right now, physically, literally, in the same way the chair you're sitting in exists. This isn't philosophy. This isn't wishful thinking. This is what Einstein's relativity actually tells us about the structure of reality. And most people have no idea. We have this deep, unshakable intuition that the present moment is special, is where everything real happens. The past, it happened once, but it's gone, vanished. The future, it hasn't arrived yet, it doesn't exist. Philosophers call this presentism, the belief that only the present moment is real. And it feels obviously true because it matches every experience we've ever had. But presentism is wrong. Completely, fundamentally, catastrophically wrong. After 50 years of working with relativity, I've become convinced that our intuition about time is one of the most devastating mismatches between human experience and physical reality that exists. More disorienting than quantum mechanics. More radical than the Big Bang, because it concerns something we think we understand directly. Our experience of time flowing forward. Time does not flow. The past does not vanish. The future is already written. Let me show you why. In physics, we call the correct picture the block universe. The idea is simple to state and profound to absorb. The universe is a four-dimensional structure. 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. All of it. Every event that has ever happened is happening now, or will ever happen, exists as part of this 4-dimensional block. The Big Bang, the formation of the first stars, your birth, this moment right now. Your death, the heat death of the universe billions of years from now. All of it is there simultaneously. Not happening one after another. They all exist in the space-time structure. You at this moment are a 3-dimensional slice through a 4-dimensional object. Your world line, the technical term for your path through space-time, is a long curved thread extending from your birth to your death. All of it exists. Every moment of your life is equally real, equally present in the space-time structure. The dinosaurs haven't ceased to exist. They're located at particular space-time coordinates, roughly 65 million years in the past. But those coordinates are just as real as the coordinates of this present moment. They're just elsewhere in the 4-dimensional structure. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like word games. Exists somewhere in space-time versus exists now. Aren't these just different ways of saying the same thing? No, they're not. And to see why, I need to show you what special relativity actually says about simultaneity. Here's the result that changed everything. The result Einstein derived in 1905 that nobody talks about enough. Simultaneity is relative. Events that are simultaneous for one observer are not simultaneous for another observer moving at a different velocity. There is no universal now. Different observers have different presence. Let me make this concrete. You're standing in the middle of a train car. I'm standing on the platform watching the train rush past at high speed. Exactly as the front of the train passes me, lightning strikes the front. And exactly as the back of the train passes me, lightning strikes the back. From my perspective on the platform, both lightning strikes happened at the same time. I was equidistant from both when they occurred. The light from both strikes reaches me simultaneously. But from your perspective on the train, the strikes did not happen simultaneously. The train is moving forward, so you're moving toward where the front strike occurred and away from where the back strike occurred. The light from the front strike reaches you before the light from the back strike. If both strikes had occurred simultaneously in your reference frame, the light would reach you simultaneously, but it doesn't. The front strike light arrives first. Conclusion in your reference frame on the train, the front lightning strike happened before the back lightning strike. 2 events I call simultaneous, you call sequential. This isn't an optical illusion. This is what simultaneity actually is. There is no fact of the matter about whether 2 spatially separated events happen at the same time. It depends on who's asking. And this destroys presentism completely. If now means different things to observers in relative motion, then what exists now means different things to observers in relative motion. Suppose your friend Alice is in a spaceship traveling past Earth at 90% of the speed of light, heading toward the Andromeda galaxy 2.5 million light years away. Because of Alice's velocity, her surfaces of simultaneity, the sets of events she considers to be happening right now, are tilted relative to yours. And here's the calculation that stops physicists cold. Because of Alice's velocity toward Andromeda, her now slice through the Andromeda galaxy corresponds to a moment in Andromeda's history that is about 800 years different from what you consider now in Andromeda. If she's moving toward Andromeda, her now in Andromeda is 800 years in your future. If she turns around and starts moving away from Andromeda at the same speed, her now in Andromeda jumps to 800 years in your past. She simply turned around, her velocity changed, and in doing so, her present in the Andromeda galaxy shifted by 600 years. Now, if presentism is true, if only the present exists, then what exists in Andromeda depends on Alice's velocity. But Alice didn't do anything to Andromeda. She just changed her velocity here near Earth. She has no way to transmit any influence that fast. Coherent resolution is this: all of those events in Andromeda, past, present, and future from your perspective, all of them exist. The difference between Alice's now and your now is not about which events exist. It's about which slice through the pre-existing four-dimensional structure you happen to call the present. The past and the future are not empty. They're as full as the present. They're just located at different positions in the four-dimensional space-time structure. But you experience time flowing. You experience the present moment. You experience things happening. This flow is real. Yes, your experience of time flow is real. I'm not denying your experience. What that experience corresponds to in the underlying physics. Your experience of the present moment is a feature of your conscious processing, not a feature of the space-time structure. Think about it this way. You have a brain. Your brain is a physical system running at a certain speed. Your neurons fire. Signals propagate. Computations occur. Right now, your brain is processing sensory information, updating your model of the world, generating your experience of now. But a nanosecond ago, your brain was in a slightly different state. And a nanosecond from now, it will be in a slightly different state. All of these brain states exist along your world line in space-time. State generates an experience of this as now, but those are multiple nows spread along a world line. The experience of flow of time moving forward is the experience of each brain state being causally connected to the next, of memories being formed of each moment having a just before and just after in the thermodynamic sense. But the underlying reality is a four-dimensional world line. Your consciousness rides along that world line, and at each point generates an experience of now. This gives you the subjective sense of moving through time. But you are not moving through time. You are a four-dimensional structure in space-time. Your consciousness is what it feels like to be that structure, experiencing each part of the world line from the inside. Let me make this personal, because this is where it gets both most disturbing and most profound. You at age 5, sitting on the floor somewhere, playing innocent, before everything that has happened since. That child still exists, not in memory, not in photographs, at specific space-time coordinates, existing. I know this is hard to absorb. That 5-year-old is located in the past. You can't then interact with it. But can't visit and doesn't exist are completely different claims. Think of it this way. Right now, somewhere in the Andromeda galaxy, there is presumably something happening. You can't visit Andromeda. You can't see what's happening there in real time. Any light you receive from Andromeda left 2.5 million years ago. But that doesn't mean what's happening in Andromeda right now doesn't exist. It exists. It's just inaccessible to you. Your past is the same. Inaccessible, but real. The old self is sitting on that floor. Your grandmother in her last moments is there. Every moment of every person who has ever lived is encoded in the four-dimensional space-time structure. This is not consolation. It's physics. The thermodynamic arrow of time is real. Entropy increases. We remember the past and not the future. Causes precede effects. This asymmetry is genuine. But the laws of physics at the fundamental level are almost perfectly time-symmetric. Take any process in physics and run it backward in time. You get another valid process. The arrow of time comes from initial conditions, not from fundamental laws. The Big Bang was a very low entropy state. Because we started in a special low entropy initial condition, entropy has been increasing ever since. And that increase creates the experienced asymmetry between past and future. But this thermodynamic arrow tells you about the direction of increasing entropy. that the past has disappeared. It doesn't tell you that tomorrow doesn't exist yet. The arrow of time tells you how to orient yourself in space-time. It tells you which direction is thermodynamically earlier and which is later. It doesn't erase parts of space-time. Einstein himself held the block universe view. When his old friend Michel Besso died in 1955, Einstein wrote to Besso's sister, "Now he has departed from this strange world a little ahead of me." That means nothing. People like us in physics know that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Einstein wasn't being metaphorical. He was stating what special relativity implies. The distinction between past, present, and future, the sense that the present is ontologically special, that the past is gone, is an illusion. Or rather, it's a feature of our experience, not a feature of the space-time structure. Now, quantum mechanics complicates this picture. Quantum mechanics is probabilistic. Before measurement, quantum systems are in superpositions of multiple states. The future is genuinely uncertain, not just unknown, but actually undetermined. Different outcomes are possible, and until a measurement occurs, there's no fact about which outcome will happen. If the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics is correct, then the block universe is extended to a quantum block multiverse. All possible outcomes of all quantum measurements exist in the four-dimensional structure. Every branch of the wave function is equally real. The past that exists includes all the branches that have split off. But even with quantum uncertainty about the future, the past is unambiguously determined. Once an event has occurred, once decoherence has happened, once a measurement has been made, the past is fixed. It's in the four-dimensional record. It cannot be unwritten. Personal identity becomes strange in the block universe picture. You think of yourself as a continuous entity persisting through time. Yesterday's you and today's you are the same person. But in the block universe, you are a four-dimensional object, a long worm of matter and information extending from birth to death. At this moment is a three-dimensional cross section through that four-dimensional worm. Is yesterday's cross section the same as today's? Your left hand and your right hand are both parts of you. They're spatially connected. Similarly, yesterday's you and today's you are both parts of your four-dimensional world line. They're temporally connected. But we don't usually say your left hand is the same as your right hand. We say they're both parts of the same person. Similarly, yesterday's you is not the same as today's you. They're different temporal parts of the same four-dimensional entity. When we say someone is gone after they die, we mean they're no longer causally active in our world. We can't interact with them. They can't respond. Your light cone in space-time has ended. They have no more influence on the future. But this is very different from saying they don't exist. There are regions of space you can never visit beyond the cosmological horizon, receding faster than light. The galaxies in those regions are causally disconnected from you. You can never interact with them. In a meaningful sense, they're gone from your accessible universe. But nobody claims those galaxies don't exist. They exist at their space-time locations. They're simply inaccessible. Your grandmother at the space-time coordinates of her last moments exists. Those coordinates are inaccessible to you. You can't travel back in time, but inaccessible is not non-existent. The death of a person is real and devastating, not because they cease to exist in the four-dimensional space-time structure, but because their world line has ended. No more new space-time coordinates are added to their history, no more new moments. The person's four-dimensional extent is complete, bounded, finished. And that is genuinely terrible. Even knowing the past persists, death is the end of a person's causal reach, their ability to act, to create new moments, to interact with the future. This is over. And that matters enormously. There's another sense in which the past exists. Physical records. Every event that has ever happened has left traces. Every physical interaction has consequences that propagate forward through time. Light left Earth 8 minutes ago, heading toward distant stars. It carries information about Earth as it was 8 minutes ago. In a sense, past Earth still exists in that light, spreading outward. There are photons that left the sun 1 billion years ago, carrying information about the sun as it was 1 billion years ago. Those photons exist right now, having traveled for 1 billion years through the universe, carrying their record of the ancient sun. The quantum information in those photons, the physics of the sun's surface 1 billion years ago, persists. It has not been destroyed. Every event leaves an indelible mark on the quantum state of the universe. The past is encoded in the present configuration of matter and energy and fields, in principle recoverable. The universe is its own record keeper. The block universe structure isn't just a mathematical abstraction, it's reflected in the physical fact that information propagates, that light carries histories, that every quantum state is the consequence of every quantum state before it. Does the block universe allow time travel? The block universe says the past exists, but existing is not the same as being accessible. The fact that last Tuesday exists at its space-time coordinates doesn't mean you can go there. In special relativity, you can only travel to events in your future light cone. The past is causally inaccessible. General relativity is more interesting. There are solutions to Einstein's field equations, closed time-like curves that allow, in principle, time travel. Certain geometries near rotating black holes might allow them. Most physicists suspect that the laws of physics conspire to prevent closed time-like curves. But the existence of the past as a space-time structure is independent of whether you can visit it. Why do we experience the present as special? Why do we feel time moving forward? Your brain is a physical system that processes information. It takes in sensory data, constructs models, forms memories, plans actions. All of this processing takes time. At each moment along your world line, your brain is in a particular state. That state encodes memories of the past, information about earlier parts of your world line. It doesn't encode the future because information flows forward along world lines, not backward. So each brain state has rich information about the past and no information about the future. This asymmetry creates the experienced asymmetry of time. Your cognitive processing is occurring. Your brain is a machine that processes information forward in time. Each processing state experiences itself as the present because that's what the present is, the moment of active processing. Meanwhile, earlier states of your brain, your past selves, at past space-time coordinates. Those states are also running, also experiencing their now, also processing information. But you in your current state can't access them directly, only through the traces they left in memory. So you experience the flow of time because you're a forward processing information system embedded in a static four-dimensional space-time structure. The flow is your experience of that embedding. It's real as an experience. It's not real as a fundamental feature of space-time. Does any of this change how we should live? I think it should affect how we think about regret and guilt. If the past exists, if that version of you making a mistake is right there in the space-time structure, just as real as you are now, then the question isn't how do I erase what I did? You can't erase it. It's in the structure. The question is, what does the rest of my world line look like from here? The past is fixed. It's already part of the four-dimensional record. What's open, what's genuinely not yet determined is the future. And you, at this space-time location, have causal power over your future world line. This is not fatalism. The block universe does not mean the future is predetermined. What it means is when those future events become past events, they will be fixed in the structure. Right now, they're not determined. Your choices matter. Not because they can change the past, they can't, but because they determine what gets added to the four-dimensional structure ahead of you. Similarly, the people we've lost are not in some metaphysical nowhere. They're at specific space-time coordinates. Their existence, the full extent of their world lines, is permanent, indestructible, part of the universe's four-dimensional record forever. I don't know if that helps with grief. It helps me intellectually to know that loss doesn't mean annihilation. But grief is a deeply human experience, and physics can't address all of it. What physics can do is tell you the truth. And the truth is they are here at their space-time coordinates. What has ended is not their existence, but your ability to reach them. Presentism says right now, at this cosmic instant, there is a universal present, a single slice through all of space-time. Everything on that slice exists. Everything off it doesn't. But by what mechanism does this slice travel through time? What physical process creates a moving now that annihilates the past and instantiates the future? There's no such mechanism. No physics describes it. The universe doesn't have a clock. There's no cosmic timer that ticks forward, revealing new moments and dissolving old ones. That picture is pure human psychology projected onto a structure that has no such feature. What the universe has is a four-dimensional space-time manifold. Every event that occurs has definite space-time coordinates. Those events are all equally part of the structure. None is more real than another in virtue of being present. We are not at the edge of reality. We are not the privileged moment where existence is happening. We are a particular location in a four-dimensional structure with an information processing system in our heads that experiences itself as the center of time. But we are not the center of time. There is no center of time. There is only space-time, and all of it exists. After 50 years of thinking about relativity, here's what I've learned about time. Time is real. It's one of the dimensions of space-time. The differences between earlier and later are genuine thermodynamic, causal, experiential. But the boundaries between past, present, and future are not what they seem. They're observer-dependent, frame-dependent, relative. Different observers have different presents. There is no universal now. And what this means, what special relativity forces us to conclude with all the confidence we have in a theory confirmed thousands of times in every particle accelerator on the planet, is that the past still exists. Not in a soft sense, not metaphorically. The past exists as part of the four-dimensional space-time structure, as real as the present moment you're experiencing right now. Your childhood still exists. Your grandmother still exists. Every person who has ever lived still exists at their space-time coordinates. You cannot visit them. That is devastating. That is the real meaning of loss. Not annihilation, but inaccessibility. Not non-existence, but causal disconnection. And you, right now, at this space-time location, with your causal power over your future world line, you get to decide what comes next. Not what has already happened, that's written, but what hasn't happened yet. The past is real. The present is real. The future is real. All of it, always, forever. Part of the fabric of space-time. That's what physics says. And after 50 years of listening, I believe it.